Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Shadrach Ndoni, and today I want us to go through economics. Economics, I want us specifically to start with demand and supply. But the lower bit of it, I want us to start with demand. So, when we talk about demand, we talk about what people are willing and are able to buy. So that is what demand is. The ability and the willingness of people to buy a certain product. So for example, when I'm talking about the demand for this pen, I'm talking about the ability and the willingness of the people kununua hii biro ya Obama. So demand has various definitions, demand itself, and demand is caused by various things. And I want us to take a look on the factors or the determinants of demand. So, what makes me demand this biro? Number one, it is the price. Now, what is the price of this biro? This biro costs only 10 bob. If I go for another biro and it costs around 20 bob, the demand for this biro will be higher than the demand of the other biro. For example, if we take these two mark pens here, this one, when you go to the market to search for these two marker pens, so this one you buy it at 50, this one will buy it at 80 bob. So we expect now that the price of this one is lower than the price of this one, people will likely to run for this and away from this one. So that is what causes demand for this biro. So the demand of this biro is caused entirely by its price. It's cheaper. The other determinant for demand, it is the price of other biros over the demand of other products. So for example, there are two types of products, commodities, price of other commodities. Now, commodities are of two types. They can either be substitutes or complements. So when we talk about substitutes, we talk about products that can be used on behalf of the other one. Are we together? So, for example, let's talk about Let's talk about the morning breakfast. So, for example, when you go and then to the shop and then you realize that the shop has increased the price for a bread, yet the price of the ndumas, the sweet potatoes, and the rest are stagnant. So that means that because I can use ndumas and the sweet potatoes over the use of this mukate, I will go for this one. So that means that the quantities demanded for what? The quantity demanded for nduma and the sweet potatoes will increase. Reason because of the increase in the price of these bread. Because we used to consume the bread, and then all of a sudden the price of the bread went up. So because these ndumas can be used on behalf in the place of this bread, now we run all of us to the ndumas. So the prices goes up. The other aspect of relationship of a product is about complement, the complementary goods. So complements are goods that are consumed together. So that means that when the price of the other goes up, the other goes up too. So for example, let's take a look on, for instance, a car. A car, okay, not unless leave about this is Elon, it is a steamer. Tukiongea gari, a car cannot move without fuel, right? Fuel can either be diesel or petrol. So for example, when the price of the cars goes up, what do we expect the price of what? Of fuel to do? It goes up here. So, okay. We can take a look on the on what? On shoes and the shoe polish. So when those things are consumed together, the leather shoes, the black leather shoes, or the other colors, the brown, all of them. So if it has to use shoe polish, they must move together. So when the price of the shoe polish goes up, the price of the shoes also goes up. When the price of the shoes goes up, the price of the shoe polish goes also up, because they are used together. Like, you cannot use one and then you leave the other. You can only use together. So let's now talk about the other determinant of demand. Now we talk about what else makes demand increase other than the price and the rest. Okay, for example, you have the government policies. You see there's some government policies that will favor production of certain products over production of the others. So now that the government has insisted on that, now people will run to this one. Are we together? Like, for example, let's talk about an influence like what? The government influence. We can talk about these cars, these police cars in Kenya. They are called Land Cruiser. They are normally used as police vehicles. So the government brought in Land Cruisers into the market, into the economy. So the aspect and the picture that comes into our mind is that these Land Cruisers are very strong, because you can see the way they operate. They are very strong. So out of us seeing the government doing that, now most people have acquired them for personal use, for business use. You know, that is a government influence over the demand of a certain product. Other than that, we have various things. We have the taste and preferences. So the taste and the preferences, changes over time. If we talk about these two biros, if personally I prefer using this one. It is not because it is cheaper, no, because this one, it writes so well. It's smooth. Alafu the ink, it's what? It's reliable. Like, I can use over a long period of time over this. Although this one seems to be so big, but I don't want to call it useless, but it is not like this. So because personally I prefer using this, that's my preference. I prefer using this biro over this one. So the demand for this one, automatically it goes up. The other one is the presence of what? The income levels. The income levels of an individual. The income level of an individual influences what to be demanded high and what not to be demanded that high. So if I earn, for example, if I earn, let's take an example about Ferrari the car, the Ferrari the car, and the what, and this. Let's take a look on the Toyota Fielder and Ferrari. So when you take a look on the two cars, one is so much in the market. The Toyota Fielder is in the market. But when you take a look on the Ferrari, it is only few people that can get Ferrari. So the demand for Ferrari will only go high when the income levels are high. But in the meantime, now that the Fielder people is for the low, okay, it is not for the low income. It's much affordable. When you have incomes to purchase Fielder, okay, Fielder is much affordable. That is the price. But if most people afford Fielder, that means that the demand for Fielder goes up, unlike when they can't even afford it. Those are the determinants for demand. Demand is all about what we are able and willing to pay for. You get, like, if I'm willing and able to pay this biro, I go and buy. So that is demand. Those are the factors that affect what I demand and what I want to consume. So now I want to take a look on the two different types of the exemptions of demand curve. because we expect demand curve to be what? To be when the price goes up, the quantity goes down. So we expect to be what? Like this. A negative. It's a negative curve from left to right. So if it goes from left to right, that's demand curve in a sloping manner. When the y-axis has the what? When the y-axis has the price and the x-axis has the quantity, it drops. So there are the exemptions of demand. Sometimes you get to realize that demand, it changes into a positive curve where it drops from the same place but upwards from left to right. So there are those exemptions, and one of those exemptions are of three types. There is on given goods, inferior goods, and goods of luxury. When you talk about goods of luxury, there are people that believe quality is on the price. So for example, if I have to say, if we're talking about these two biraos, someone will go to the market, to the supermarket, get to see the prices of the two biraos, get to realize that this one goes for 50 bob and this one goes for only 80 bob, and then he'll say, just because this one goes for 80 bob, that means that it's of high quality. And then that person will purchase this one regardless of the price. And then that's why I realize when the price goes up, the demand goes up for luxury goods. So that is why that's why sometimes we realize people say that if something is much expensive, that means that it's of high quality. So preferably you get to match quality with the price. So when the quality is high, the price is high. When it's low, it's also low, the price. So that is goods of what? Goods of luxury. The other one is the given goods. And when you talk about the given goods, these are super inferior. These are super inferior goods, but of low, like of basic in nature. For example, if the price of of rice in somewhere like India, most Indians prefer using their meals rotate on rice. So in that nature, when the price of rice goes up, these people will tend to excuse other items that were used together with the rice in exchange for the difference of the rice quantity that they used to consume. Like for example, if these people were using to take stew and rice, and then it happens that the price of rice goes up, yet the other goods that are consumed, like the stew, like that, they are the components, like we talk about the meat, all the ingredients that are used to prepare the stew, assume they are constant, and then the price of rice goes up. So these people will but they will have to forego one of the ingredients of the same value as the price increase, so that they may maintain the usual consumption of rice. So if they go to the market, they'll get the same amount and the quantities of rice, regardless of whether the prices have gone high or not. And after that, what they'll do, they'll reduce the ingredients that are used with the preparation of the rice. So those are goods of what? Those are the given goods. And so is inferior goods. Given goods are inferior goods, super inferior goods. Those are the instances where the demand curve does not apply, the exemptions of demand curve. So there is something else. There's something else has to do with what? The elasticity of demand, the price elasticity of demand. And this, it refers to the extent to which it refers to the extent to which the quantity demanded is affected by changes in the price of the product. So the extent, so this is the elasticity, price elasticity of demand. So the extent to which the quantity demanded are affected by what? The changes in prices. So when we talk about elasticity of demand, there are various types of price elasticity of demand. We have super elastic, and that is the perfectly inelastic demand. We have inelastic demand and unit elasticity of demand. So those are three, not two. So we have when we say that it's the price, there is price inelasticity in demand. That means that the changes in price does not influence the quantity demanded. And number one, if it does not influence the quantity demanded, that means it is of two types. Number one, it can either totally have a zero influence on the quantity demanded, or it can have a slight, the what? Just the slightest influence on the quantities demanded. So if it has zero or no influence on the quantity demanded, that is why we say that is a perfectly inelastic demand. I hope we are together there. When it has the slightest effect on the quantity demanded, then that is where we say it is an inelastic demand. Or the other option, it can also be a unit elasticity of demand, where we mean that that means that the price of that product can significantly affect the quantity that is demanded of the product. So that is the three types of elasticity of demand, the price elasticity of demand. So there is a difference between elasticity of demand and price elasticity of demand. When we talk about elasticity of demand, we are talking about those factors that affect the quantity demanded together. So when we add price elasticity of demand, we are talking about price affecting the quantity demanded. When we are talking about income elasticity of demand, we are talking about income levels of individuals affecting the quantities that are being demanded. Yeah, and that's all about demand. I wish I could do